So we'll settle on a poll question for the final hour of the program. Is Zack there? Yes, he's there, Todd. Thank you.
He's ready to go.
Zack Rosenblatt with The Athletic. Zack, you and Diana Rossini are chopping it up a little bit here with the Jets situation. Let me start with the firing of Joe Douglas. Did Joe Douglas have a chance to keep this job?
No, I think it was always heading this way. They went all in on this season, all in on Aaron Rodgers. When it falls apart so spectacular like it did, and when Woody's coming out and saying things like, this is the best roster we've ever had since I've owned this team, and they still keep losing. And he made the decision to fire Robert Saleh because he wanted to provide a spark, and the spark never came. So Joe Douglas, the last year of his contract, they've never made the playoffs in 6 years. He was headed towards his exit.
Okay, but why now?
I think now it allows them to they know he's not coming back. So this allows them to at least start putting out feelers, start researching who their next GM might be, because they're going to hire the GM first and then they'll hire the head coach is my impression. And so this gets them a little bit of a head start.
But the owner's involved in this, according to what you and Diana are reporting. Woody Johnson is heavy-handed with Aaron Rodgers benching him, firing the coach and not even telling the GM, and then firing the GM. Any chance you can replace Woody Johnson if you're the Jets?
I mean, technically they might if he goes to join Donald Trump's administration again for the next 4 years, and then you have Christopher probably managing the day-to-day operations. But it didn't necessarily work out last time that happened either. So, but it ultimately all starts at the top. Like, that's just where all the problems start, is with Woody, and I don't see him leaving anytime soon.
Okay, but let's just apply logic of you want to bench Aaron Rodgers. He was out all last year. Everybody was waiting for him. And he didn't play well, but now you're going to bench him and think that's going to provide a spark? Or give me the logic behind his thought process, I guess, to bench Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I would say your mistake is trying to apply logic. But okay. What I would say is, Woody, to his credit or detriment, I don't know, depending on your perspective, he focuses on results over process all the time. I know Bill Belichick kind of made fun of him and said he goes ready, fire, aim all the time. And I think that's kind of where he's at. So he's like, okay, we love Aaron Rodgers. He has a bad game against the Broncos. Okay, why is Aaron Rodgers bad? And, Aaron Rodgers has a good game. They move on. They trade for Devontae Adams. And it's week by week, day by day with him a lot of the time, I think. I don't think he sees the full picture. I think he looks at what's right in front of him. And that's why over the years, when the Jets have had a good season, in 2015, they go 10-6, they go all in that offseason, it fails. 2022 this year, the last a couple years ago, they started off really well, looked like they had some promise, went all in Aaron Rodgers, and you understand why they did, but it obviously did not work out.
Is this an attractive job, being the head coach of the Jets in the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question they're going to have to answer. I would say if you're stacking it up with the other jobs that are likely going to be available, I don't think it would be the most appealing. If you're looking at a Mike Vrabel, a Ben Johnson, these guys that are going to be at the top of every list, if you're weighing two situations, are you going to go to an organization that, number one, probably doesn't have a quarterback, and you have an owner who meddles, and who knows who the GM is going to be? There's a lot against it. They do have talent on this team. There's things you can build around, but there's a lot of factors that are going to be held against them as these coaches are weighing, Jets or, Cowboys, Jets, or whatever it is, Jaguars, these teams. You have to weigh that part of it for sure.
The quarterbacking situation moving forward, will Aaron Rodgers be the quarterback next year, in your opinion?
I don't think so. I think there was a point where Aaron himself would have said that he'd only come back if there's some continuity, whether it's Jeff Ulbrich or Joe Douglas or Saleh before that. If they came back, he'd come back. Everybody's gone now. Ulbrich's not coming back as the head coach. And then on top of that, I don't know that Woody wants Aaron back next year. So I think it might be a mutual parting. It's just crazy how quickly the tone changes around here, because, you hear Aaron Rodgers, I believe in January, where he's saying, I could play 3 or 4 more years, and, it does not look like he's going to last that long.
Because I don't know where they're going to be in the draft, and if they're going to draft a quarterback again. How big a cap hit is Aaron Rodgers if he doesn't come back?
So he doesn't have any guaranteed money left after this year. They would have a big dead cap hit that they'd have to inherit if they cut him, but that's money already paid to him. So he only has a $20 million cap hit next year. So ultimately it's not a huge deal if they move on from him. But, they don't have a lot of options. It's not a great free agency class, not supposed to be a great draft class. So it's not the best year to be needing a quarterback, I would say.
Well, we're offering up Sam Darnold, Zach. Because Minnesota move on from him with J.J. McCarthy. Can we bring Sam Darnold back to the scene of the crime where he played with the Jets and now he's going to play with the Giants? What do you think?
I mean, that would be something. I just don't see Sam putting himself in that position again, though.
Is it just a poorly run organization?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at the track record, just look at the facts. It's 14 years they haven't made the playoffs, and that's the most out of any North. It will be 14 at the end of the season, I should say, and that'll be the most of any of the four more North American sports, the major sports. So that's a level of futility that literally nobody else is dealing with at the moment. And ultimately, they've shuffled through coaches, quarterbacks, GMs, and it remains the same. So it obviously starts at the top with the person who's been there the whole time.
Great stuff, Zach. You and Diana, please tell her we said hello. Great stuff on the Jets in The Athletic.
Thanks, Dan.
You start to talk to people and you could change things. I always wonder, like if Tom Brady was in the Jets organization, would Tom Brady have been Tom Brady or anywhere near it? Or Joe Montana, John Elway, like all of these great quarterbacks, you put them in that organization. And sometimes you kind of, the organization weighs you down.